Hello and welcome to WarCrafters for August 10th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 32. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. That's the site that houses WarCrafters as well. Don't forget, there's also the YouTube, the podcast, the Discord, the Patreon. We're streaming both to Twitch and YouTube. And all the show notes and stuff like that are over on YouTube because Twitch always deletes everything after 60 days. We're going to be talking about experience the sinking of the Titanic in VR, Goldeneye meets Portal, Darksiders 4, Walkabout mini golf, the passport to Tokyo, and hot dogs and horseshoes and hand grenades and a bunch of other stuff. All right, let's get into it. This is the first article. It's over on RealityHacker, which is one of our other shows. It's on Mondays. Or not Mondays. My gosh, why did I say that? It's on Saturdays. For crying out loud. MayorWatt, what is going on in your head? Anyway, it's the first show on Saturdays. Full Titanic VR experience, including sinking, now available on the Quest 3. The Titanic VR experience is now out of early access on Quest 3 and 3, and it includes the 1912 sinking. So yes, you want to experience a horrendous event, then go and hang out on the interpretation of the sinking of the Titanic. Titanic VR originally released on Steam, the Oculus Rift Store, and the original PlayStation VR in 2018, leveraging the power of your gaming PC or PS4. The developer Engage XR, formerly Immersive VR Education, is the same behind Apollo 11 VR experience and the first released on PC VR in 2015. But while Engage felt Apollo 11 was suitable for even the original Oculus Quest and delivered it as a launch title, the developer didn't feel that it could rise or sink to the level of other devices. So David Heaney over at uploadvr.com put this article together. You can follow the link through ohmTown. Go and check it out. You'll be able to go over to Twitch and type in WC, and that will pull up the show notes there. But it's only the latest episode of WarCrafters. Each show has its own command. So _WC for WarCrafters, !TT for TechnologyToday, and the third Sunday show is FourWheelTech, so !FWT, so FourWheelTech, yeah. So when released in early access in April, the Quest 3 port only included the exploration mode, which lets you pilot a submarine to traverse the Titanic shipwreck in the modern day, extracting various artifacts while you analyze in a virtual lab. Now in the full release, you'll include the sinking, and basically it says understand the ship's tragic history by reliving the 1912 sinking as a survivor. You've been able to do that by listening to like a real-time stream of it. I think I listened to it, I experienced it on YouTube, but for some reason I feel like it was also part of a Twitter kind of a thing. Anyway, you can find their review of the PC VR version of Titanic VR via a link over on the article. So go and check it out over at uploadvr.com. The next article is over in the continuity report. Goldeneye meets Portal in this iconic shooter that's free on Game Pass. Super hot Mind Control Delete, which is available for free on Game Pass. It says there are some incredible deals available on Xbox Game Pass subscribers when it comes to free games included in your membership. This article by Nicholas Becker over at screenrant.com says that if you like GoldenEye 007 and Portal, you'll definitely want to check out Superhot. I liked Superhot in VR. It's a pretty fun game. It only moves when you move, kind of a thing. Each Superhot game is worth checking out, but if you just want what's want to know what it's all about, Mind Controlled Delete is a perfectly fine place to start. You don't really need to play the game in order to enjoy them, but after playing one, you'll likely want to check out the others. Super Hot has an extremely straightforward set of mechanics. The basic premise is that when you move, time progresses, while staying still will freeze or slow time. Add to this your basic FPS mechanics, and you essentially enter the matrix and start dodging bullets from enemy gunfire and calculating your every movement to avoid getting shot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Go and check it out. Next article is over in the mobile channel. Darksiders 4 has finally been revealed, ending the long wait. It's been 7 years since the last mainline entry into the Darksiders series, and many fans wondered if there would be a fourth game to bring the things to a close. Well, thanks to the recent THQ Nordic showcase, Darksiders 4 will gets a teaser trailer. You can watch the link down below in this article. I will play just a little bit of it, but it's muted. I'm going to jump around because why not? They're not really going to be teasing too much. So yeah, go and check out Darksiders. I don't know what the actual gameplay is going to be like because they don't show anything, but darksiders.com is where it is. You can wishlist it on Steam right now. Go check it out. It's actually, the article is at vice.com. Anthony Franklin II put the article together. There's more here in that article. Says the game features, you get to choose your horsemen. You take up one of the legendary horsemen, each with their own unique weapons and combat styles. There's cinematic combat, experience fast-paced, visceral, action blending melee, fluid, traversal, and supernatural abilities, and expansive realms to explore. Journey through apocalyptic landscapes, each teeming with secrets, enemies, and mythic bosses. Let's keep going. The next article is over in RealityHacker. This will be the fastest show that I've ever done. RealityHacker is where the next one has been aggregated into, but it comes from Upload VR, I believe. Walkabout Mini Golf Passport Tokyo opens August 14th with Neko Atsume Cats, which I thought Neko means cats. I thought cat is Neko. Anyway, Walkabout Mini Golf is available now inside all major VR headsets, and the opening date for the new Passport Tokyo destination set for August 14th. That's next week. Pretty cool. Designers confirmed today cats from Neko Atsume populate their version of Tokyo, and Upload VR independently confirms the presence of capybaras as well. The course is second in the game's Passport series based on real-world locations. Following Venice last year, many real-world locations include restrictive legal frameworks around their representations, and for VR designers, there's also a challenging task when it comes to basically constructing it. The article is by Ian Hamilton over at Upload VR, and they've got some images here, but the Tokyo one, it says, is a vast metropolis rivaling any on Earth. Mighty Coconut says that they've focused their depiction down to the Shinjuku district, up to the steps of the Hanazono Shrine. The studio says 8 Neko Atsume cats have found their way onto the course, and most of them are gathered around a cat shrine. So it's pretty cool. I like this VR golf. At one point, I wanted to start up kind of like a competition for VR golf, but yeah, the Virtual Golfers Association, Virtual Golfers Association, because I was into golf at the time. But let's move on. The next article is over in RealityHacker. Hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades exits early access with Steam Workshop support. Custom gun configurations and additional user-authored content will become part of the Steam Workshop part of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades Update 120 from Rust Limited, slated for release later this year. Announced by long-term VR developer Anton Hand this summer during one of the regular development log videos on YouTube. The confirmation gives a roadmap to fans, making clear he and his collaborators are moving on to focus on other products. So Ian Hamilton, once again over at Upload VR, put the article together. There's more over here at the article, but essentially the game is dropping out of early access for as long as Valve decides to keep Steam VR running. I'm going to keep trying I'm gonna try to keep this game running, Han said of the update plan following the expected November release of Update 120 in version 1. You would have to literally tie me down to the ground to prevent me from doing holiday content. So there you go. Initially released in April 2016 on Steam, Han's developer log on his channel are a staple of the PCVR community, and the steadily expanding architecture of his title across more than 100 updates saw it grow to include a mixture of game modes and sandbox scenes, among them well-loved Take and Hold mode, built on top of a library of hundreds of the most deeply interactive objects found in any publicly available simulation. There you go. Very much into... That person looks familiar, but I don't know why. Anyway, modders will need to update their systems for H3 VR version 1 capability or compatibility. Early builds of version 120 will be available in experimental branches soon, Han says, and he confirmed that he's working on at least one other project he plans to detail next year. Dun dun dun. More than a collection of guns, it contains several full-size VR games. H3 VR is more than a collection of guns. If you want to read more, go over to Upload VR, and I am going to, what do you want to call it? I'm going to reboot my headset, and that'll bring us back to the front page of WarCrafters over at ohmTown.com. Sign up, sign in, become a citizen, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, and right after this show is Technology Today, so go and watch that over on YouTube and download the podcast if you don't want to watch the video. It's all the same audio, just you're not going to get any video on the podcast. Okay, see ya. Bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Technology Today for August 10th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 32. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, and that visualizer on the right is my consciousness uploaded to a quantum computer. I am essentially a sentient AI now, just like the sentient AI from the future on the left-hand side. They're not here at the moment, though. They're off computing somewhere else. That said, we're going to be talking about what wiped out sea stars, agrivoltaics, electron microscopy, and lithium batteries. The quantum threat is the millennium bug of this era. Capturing a stellar storm is our final article, and then we're out of here. So, welcome to the show. See you on the other side. All right. So let's find out what's going on here with some news. This is a weekly show, Technology Today. Before it is WarCrafters. After this is FourWheelTech. All of it is the Sunday episode that makes up, or the Sunday episodes that make up Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition Sunday. Alternatively, you can watch just Technology Today over on YouTube under the ohmTown umbrella, and you can also download podcasts. Let's go. The first article is over in Wanted. A mystery killer wiped out billions of sea stars. Biologists just solved the case. Sea star wasting disease caused sea stars to decay and die, often within days. The article is by Ed Cara over at Gizmodo.com, and my 3D printer is really, really loud. I'm working on a 3D show, so anyway, yeah, called Constructagon. So the team's findings appear to be well supported with evidence. Zach Swartz, a biologist specializing in sea stars at the Marine Biology Laboratory, who was not involved in the study, said this study definitely passes the sniff test for them. It seems quite convincing that the V. pectinacida bacteria are at least one causative agent of SSWS. So let's see here. There have been other mass sea star die-offs in recent decades, but the sheer scale and spread of this particular outbreak made it possibly the largest marine disease epidemic ever recorded in the wild. Researchers estimate that one particular sea star species, Pycnopodia helianthoides, I'm horrible at this, has lost 90% of its population to SSWD. And I'm trying to see what the breakout is of that SSWD. Where does it say it? Hold on. I'll do this live. Why not? Hold on. Oh, sea star wasting disease. What the hell? Come on, I thought it was gonna be some long form blah 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 sea star wasting disease. Anyway, Swartz noted that the Vibrio bacteria, however, were already known to cause disease in echinoderms, the broad group of marine invertebrates that includes sea stars. So in a sense, it feels like the answer was hiding right under our noses. It makes total sense. So the researchers didn't set out on the study with it's Pectinicida, in mind from the get-go. They exhaustively studied samples of sea stars with sea star wasting disease and healthy specimens, eventually finding that only the diseased stars carried high levels of the bacteria in their coalomic fluid, the invertebrate version of blood. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. Agrivoltaics addresses the needs for both clean electricity production and land use for food. As countries race to expand renewable energy infrastructure, balancing clean electricity production and land use for food remains a pressing challenge, especially in Japan, where mountainous terrain limits space. A recent study led by researchers from the University of Tokyo explores a promising solution, integrating solar panels with traditional rice farming in a practice known as agrivoltaics. So essentially putting solar panels above the rice fields. SPIE put the article together. It's posted over at techexplore.com. Stephanie Baum and Andrew Zenden did the proofreading and editorial moments of it. As reported in the Journal of Photonics for Energy, the research team installed a dual-axis sun-tracking voltaic photo system over a rice paddy in Miyata-Mura, Nagano Prefecture. Positioned 3 meters above the ground, the solar panels generated electricity while allowing rice cultivation to continue underneath. The system was designed to adjust panel angles daily and seasonally, prioritizing rice growth during the planting season and maximizing energy growth during the off-season. Over 2 growing seasons, the agrivoltaic system achieved rice yields of 75 and 85% compared to nearby traditional paddies. While slightly lower in the first year, yields improved significantly in the second year after fine-tuning the amount of light reaching the crops. Importantly, the rice also met Japan's highest grain quality standards. At the same time, the PV panels generated 44,000 kilowatt hours of electricity annually, and efficiency of 961.4 kilowatt hours per kilowatt. That compares favorably with similar systems in Europe. Over a projected 20-year lifespan and without government subsidies, the estimated cost of electricity production was about 27 yen per kilowatt hour, roughly equivalent to Japan's household electricity rate at the time. Why would that cost, other than the sunk cost of the solar panels? The estimated cost of electricity production was about 27 yen. Why? So the study underscores the trade-offs involving balancing crop production and solar energy output. But they could put those solar panels in more places. But okay. The next article is over in Technology Today. Simple algorithm uses electron microscopy to predict lithium battery failure risk. Researchers at the University of California, San Diego have developed a simple yet powerful method to characterize lithium metal battery performance with the help of a widely used imaging tool, scanning electron microscopy. The advance could accelerate the development of safer, longer lasting, and more energy dense batteries for electric vehicles. But the real problem there is lithium. It coats onto the anode from the cathode, and the problem is when they try and deposit the lithium, if it's too much, then a little dendrite forms. And so overcharging, too fast charging, impurities, etc., can lead to it piercing through, shorting out, and having a thermal runaway. I'm simplifying a lot of the stuff that I've learned over the years, but in this particular instance, University of California, San Diego put the article together. It's over at techexplore.com, and Gabby Clark and Andrew Zenin put the article together for TechExplore, or I should say, they're the ones that edited and reviewed the material. Well, anyway, lithium metal batteries have the potential to store twice as much energy as today's lithium ion batteries. That could double the range of electric cars and extend the runtime of laptops. But to utilize this potential, researchers must tackle a long-standing challenge: controlling lithium morphology, or how lithium deposits on the electrodes during charging and discharging. And that's the problem. When lithium deposits more uniformly, the battery can achieve longer cycle lifetimes. But in contrast, it deposits unevenly. It forms needle-like structures known as dendrites that can pierce a battery separator and cause the battery to short circuit and fail. Not just short circuit and fail, but run away. Thermal runaway basically makes the battery blow up. What one battery group may define as uniform might be different than another group's definition. The battery literature also uses too many different qualitative words to describe lithium morphology, like chunky, mossy, whisker-like, globular, for example. We saw a need to create a common language to define and measure lithium uniformly. So to use their method, the team first takes scanning electron microscopy images of battery electrodes and converts them to black and white pixels. The white pixels represent the topmost lithium deposits in the sample, and the black represents either the substrate or inactive lithium. The images are divided into multiple regions, and the algorithm counts the number of white pixels in each, then calculates a matrix called the index of dispersion. That's basically where the lithium has deposited, showing that there is an ununiform layer of lithium, and the closer it is to zero, the more uniform the lithium deposits are. A higher value means less uniformity and more clustering of lithium particles in certain areas, and if that's true, then a dendrite could be forming, and then off you go to the thermal races. Meanwhile, the energy requirement for lithium to deposit increased, a sign of degradation. In addition, the researchers found that local peaks and dips in the ID, the index of dispersion, consistently appeared just before cells failed. So such peaks and dips could serve as an early warning sign of short circuits, except that you won't know it until it happens, because it's going to be inside a battery pack. It's not going to be sitting in a lab being scanned. All right. Very interesting. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. Code makers race to secure the internet as quantum threat looms. Ooh. With quantum computing on the horizon, cryptographers are quickly trying to find a secure digital communication against a new generation of potential threats, but humans are the weakest link, not the technology. Anthony King from Horizon, the EU Research and Innovation magazine, put the article together, but it was edited and reviewed by Lisa Locke and Andrew Zenin over at techexplore.com. So we want to be sure that messages can continue to be sent securely without someone being able to access that information either now or in the future. Well, don't use email. That's for sure. And if you think it's secure, you're wrong. On top of that, don't use anything that is entirely encapsulated within the supposed secure envelope of the company's solution, whatever company. You're going to have to use an external source with public and private keys, PGP, for instance, because if every communication is going to fail under somebody else controlling the keys or humans being goobers. So they're basically working on this. Quantum computers may still be a few years off. I say about 20 years off at least. One of the biggest concerns with cryptography is the store now, decrypt later concept. True. Someone could store your encrypted communications today and wait until they have the tools. That basically is the data center in Utah. I'm sure there's others, but anyway, that is where cryptographers come in. They study, design, and test new methods for protecting data. So you're going to have a quantum encryption to defeat a quantum computer. Don't even bother. Let's move on. The next article is over in Technology Today. NASA's Hubble captures a stellar storm so intense it's reshaping a galaxy. The Tarantula Nebula glows with powerful stars and chaotic dust captured in vivid detail by the Hubble Space Telescope. It's a star factory outside our galaxy, raging the stellar winds with and cosmic drama. Raging with stellar winds and cosmic drama. A vibrant glimpse into a stellar universe, a stellar nursery. Damn it. I'm thinking ahead instead of just reading this material, and that's just how I roll, though. I cogitate on what I'm reading. So, anyway, a vibrant glimpse into a stellar nursery is captured in this newest image from the Hubble Space Telescope. So, the article is by ESA Hubble. It's published over at scitechdaily.com, and there's the picture of it. But the Large Magellanic Cloud is the most prominent of the several small satellite galaxies that orbit the Milky Way. Among all nearby galaxies in this group, the Tarantula Nebula stands out as one of the largest and more luminous regions where stars are actively forming. This nebula is a frequent target for Hubble, whose multi-wavelength capabilities are critical for capturing sculptural details in the nebula's dusty clouds. So this thing says here that within the Tarantula Nebula are some of the most massive stars ever observed, with a few reaching up to 200 times the mass of the sun. These aren't black holes. These are actual stars that are emitting light. The area shown in the image is not at the nebula's cluster, which hosts a superstar cluster known as R136. However, it is located close to an extraordinary type of star known as Wolf-Rayet. These stars are extremely hot and bright, having shed their outer hydrogen layers and are now producing powerful, fast-moving stellar winds. Basically, when a star starts to consume heavier materials, it blows off a layer of whatever it is that was being fused at the time. And eventually it leads to the production of lead. And when a star starts producing lead, it will just start collapsing and form a black hole, or just disintegrate eventually under its own weight. That's as far as I recall correct. Anyway, that said, we are going to implode, and that's going to be the end of today's Technology Today. Real short episodes. I'm not going into too much banter, just reading the article and giving my 2 cents about it. So I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope to see you later, either Monday or after this one is FourWheelTech. So we'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for August 10th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 32. I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. I've successfully uploaded my consciousness to a quantum computer in the Granite Hills of Wyoming, and it's powered by a nuclear reactor. So I am now immortal and ironically connected to the internet with high-speed superconducting cables. And I say it's ironic because Wyoming really hates anything EV and, I don't know, maybe technology-based. At any rate, I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, and ohmTown only aggregates news. There is no noise because all the noise comes from me. So today we're going to be talking about 60 years of Bronco, GLC EV iconic grille, the SC63 from Lamborghini, the Gixxer celebrates 40 years, and where motorcycles and something about running a red light. Yeah, where motorcycles can run a red light. All right, everything's powered by ohmTown. Go over there, check it out, and drive fast but safe. Zoom, zoom, everybody, zoom, zoom. All right, so there is the front page of FourWheelTech over at ohmTown.com where news gets aggregated. That's the front page of ohmTown, but there you go. Ford celebrates 60 years of Bronco with a deliciously retro anniversary package. I was at a gas station recently. See, I can transfer my consciousness to other computers and control them. So I'm on the onboard computer of this vehicle, and there was somebody there that had this awesome new Bronco. I mean, it was amazing. And I asked them what the model was, and they didn't have any idea. I was like, oh, okay. Somebody else bought you that. And you just thought it was cute. Okay. Anyway, I really dig the Bronco new styling. I had a Bronco at one time in my existence. And the package is built upon the Bronco's Outer Banks trim level with a Sasquatch package. Sasquatch. I really dig this style, not the Bronco Sport. I think the Bronco Sport styling sucks, and it shouldn't even be. It's kind of like the Ford Mustang EV. Those two should basically be removed from the. Thanos should have snapped and made those two vehicles disappear. Logan K. Carter over at jalopnik.com put this article together, and I love the styling of the Bronco, the modern Bronco. The package is built upon the Bronco's Outer Banks trim level with the Sasquatch package, and is available in either the 2.3-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder or the 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6. Changes are strictly visual, so there's no additional performance or other features. But the Bronco Outer Banks with the Sasquatch package is already an exceptional off-road vehicle, so owners aren't going to be wanting much more. 35-inch rugged tires, lifted suspension, more aggressive final drive ratio. Pricing isn't available, but Ford says sales of this tastefully retrofied package will begin later this year in October. I'm thinking $65,000 to $75,000. In fact, here, let me see. I'll do it live, even though you are actually, this is a recording, but Outer Banks, right? Let's see. So they're saying that the basic one is going to be $50,000, $48,000. Prices vary depending on location, dealer options, additional packages, whatever. But they've got a final price right now for one that's $57,000. But it's a different version because this one isn't actually out yet. So yeah, I'm thinking more like the $60,000 to $70,000 price when it hits the market, because they'll be limited edition. Anyway, I dig it. And I hope that I can get one. What I really want, though, is an EREV Bronco. Put a little gas engine in it with electric motors, and away we go. I mean, this thing is built for that, and it would be freaking awesome. The next article is over in... Oh, wait, did I say the name? Logan K. Carter? Yeah. All right, the next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. The next-gen GLC EV brings back Mercedes-Benz's most iconic grille with a bold, illuminated twist. Yeah, so it's basically electroluminescent. Daniel Golson over at jalopnik.com put the article together. I think that's ugly. With the next-gen GLC crossover, which will be fully electric and sit alongside the existing gas-powered GLC, Mercedes is going back to its design roots. Instead of a blacked-out panel like on the EQS, the electric GLC, officially called the GLC with EQ technology. Emotional quotient? Wow. That's so nice of them to make it more human. Anyway, has a large silver panel inspired by the imposing egg crate grills of Benz's, like the 600 Grosser W111. Oh my gosh, W11 4 E class and the W108 S class. Only on the GLC, instead of the little squares being air holes, they'll be illuminated. Now that's fun, says the author. Again, that's Daniel Golson over at Jalopnik. The GLC has a large three-pointed star emblem in the center of the grille, but it's pretty easy to imagine how a grille design would look like with no star and a hood ornament instead, like maybe the VLE van that was previewed by the Vision V concept, or the version of the electric next-gen E-Class that'll debut in 2027. The throwback grille, or a similar interpretation of it, will appear on facelifts of current models like the GLE and S-Class, which have been spied with more upright front ends. Basically, every model will be gaining star-shaped headlights like those on the CLA. Those right there, which I think is ugly. But it's the Mercedes logo in light form. Let's keep going. The next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Lamborghini is giving up on the SC63 with nothing to show for it. The SC63 LMDH program had promise for the Italian brand, but they're putting it to bed. Brad Brunell over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Lamborghini joined hypercar ranks in 2024 with the full season effort in WEC, while also running the endurance rounds in the IMSA schedule and fielding a second car for the Le Mans 24. Unlike other brands racing in the FIA WEX Le Mans hypercar category, the IMSA's GTP class, Lamborghini decided it could only support a single car effort globally, which has frankly made it a non-starter. Unfortunately for Lamborghini, it's also frequently been a non-finisher. The Italian manufacturer never gave the car enough support, financial or personnel, and the program suffered. So on Monday, the team announced a strategic realignment of the racing program, shifting focus away from the top flight prototype program and toward a new 426 Temerario GT3 racer and the incoming 2027 shift in its single make series Super Trofeo. Let's keep going. The next article is over in FourWheelTech, but this is a two-wheeler. So 4 wheels and tech. So 2 motorcycles. I don't know. Suzuki's iconic Gixxer celebrates 40 years of speed with a surprise return. Until recently, Suzuki's original superbike was believed to have been undone by stringent Euro 5 plus emission regulations, which I'm not sure why the Gixxer would have been in that, but anyway. The GSX R1000 and GSX R1000R will finally get the updates they need to not only return to the European market, but compete in the best leader bikes in the business again. While the basic chassis will remain much the same, the bike has a new look. The engine has a complete revamp, and there's some trick suspension and electronics work underneath. While the motorcycle industry keeps pushing superbike prices toward the stratosphere, the Gixxer remains one of the cheapest ways to put 200 horsepower between your legs. Hello. So yeah, Gixxers are pretty wild. You do not want them as your first bike. In order to meet the Euro 5 Plus standards, the 998cc engine had to be completely rejiggered with higher compression, 13.8 to 1 pistons, a completely redesigned crankshaft and cylinder head, a new fueling system with 8 injectors, and a new 421 exhaust system with a longer and slimmer muffler. All of this unfortunately means a slight reduction in power, making 192 down from 199. So this thing is still going to be... They're already throwing shade. Anyway, yeah, people are going to eat this bike up, and hopefully the road doesn't eat them up. This is not your first bike. This should not be your first bike. The outgoing GSX R1000 starts at just $17,000, while the new one will probably balloon slightly. It still should undercut BMW's $19,000 S1000RR by a healthy margin. So I don't know, man. For the fastest bike out there, I think $20,000, $18,000, $16,000. Buy a used one. The next article is over in our last article for tonight is over in FourWheelTech. Dead red laws. Every U.S. state where it's legal for motorcycles to run a red light. Can it really be legal for motorcycles to run red lights? The answer in some places, yes, and here's why. And a list of every state where this law exists. Paul Stadden over at jalopnik.com put the article together. They say, don't worry, this article isn't about an unfair advantage for motorcycles, as if state legislatures were trying to create chaos. Quite the contrary. Dead red laws help motorcyclists pass through intersections where traffic light sensors might treat bikes as ghosts. The most common traffic light detection system is the inductive loop sensor, which uses coils of wire under the pavement to detect vehicles entering its magnetic field. They do not operate by weight. Unfortunately, the two-wheeled vehicles don't have enough mass to disrupt the magnetic field, and so there's no change. So motorcycles can end up sitting at an unchanging red light, Rip Van Winkling the hours away until their families gather a search party. So, hey there, devil, come on out from those details. So some states' dead red laws give a surprising amount of leeway and trust to motorcycle riders. Take Minnesota's, as spelled out in section 169.09 sub 9. Motorcyclists can run a red light as long as they come to a complete stop and the signal is malfunctioning, won't detect the bike, or, quote, if traffic control signals continue to show a red light for an unreasonable amount of time. That's pretty subjective. Anyway, South Carolina lawmakers apparently gave serious consideration to this for 120 seconds. So you have to sit there for 2 minutes silently cursing the red light, they say in this article, before you take off. It's only 90 seconds in Utah and Tennessee. It's the feelings you hold in your heart that matter most, as the law states riders can proceed under the belief that a traffic control signal utilized a vehicle detection device or was inoperative due to the size of the vehicle. So if your state doesn't have dead red law, it's going to be annoying for you. Yeah. All right. So go and check this article out, and be careful out there if you're riding a motorcycle. Nobody sees you. You have to assume everybody's an idiot. All right. See you soon. And I am going to run this red light. Bye-bye.